Welcome everyone to today's Digital Africa live session. Today the session is in English. We'll be talking about Enhanced Combined Drought Index and its applications. So our program is has just celebrated 6 years, and we're working with partners across the continent. And some of these continental services have been very useful because of the good collaboration with partners. So looking at the water observation from space, looking at the cloud-free mosaics, and looking at the coastline and all the partners who will be very instrumental. So these continental services continue to help the different countries in addressing their various national development agendas, including also drought as one of the topics. Digital Africa is providing this satellite image in analysis ready format, and we have the Landsat and Sentinel 1 and 2, and recently working on adding Sentinel 3, which will be very impactful for vegetation and land, as well as ocean and coastal marine monitoring. In the context of today's presentation on Enhanced Combined Drought Index, this one is a very reliable index that provides assessments on drought events over time and how severe they have been. And Digital Africa has been working closely with partners to develop a workflow that will help us understand first the Vegetation Drought Index, especially looking at the various normalized differential vegetation index, looking at the Precipitation Drought Index, looking at the temperature drought, soil moisture, and finally looking at the Combined Drought Index. This session is very useful to understand the trends over time and also help countries in developing mitigation measures, especially in support of food relief in affected areas. So in our sandbox, we are able to see the different folders we have, and specifically the one we have is in the use case folder for enhanced drought monitoring. So the program at Digital Africa has providing you in the sandbox. You're able to navigate to the different folders and also looking at the areas, thematic areas that we have which support similar topics. We are looking at agriculture, food security, vegetation, closely looking at vegetation anomalies, and also other notebooks that will be useful for us just to explore in our next coming live sessions. So we help to keep you tuned to these important sessions, especially looking at the different applications and how we're able to support agriculture and food security. In today's now context, looking at the Enhanced Drought Index, in this particular folder, you'll see 5 notebooks that are supposed to be run step by step. The first one is to provide an understanding on the Enhanced Drought Index and looking at vegetation drought, precipitation drought, temperature, soil moisture, and finally coming up with an Enhanced Combined Drought Index. So looking at drought, which has been affecting our continent over time, really affecting food and security, as well as even security itself, and working closely with the different partners in this space. So once you have such information generated from the satellite data, now working closely with partners who have data on the ground to do some more validation and see how to support different livelihoods. So the workaround now in the Enhanced Drought Index formula is more of a combined index, adding a lot of information from precipitation and looking at the climate data every 10 years and running these on the fly to give you the right results. So in the platform now, in the Enhanced Drought Index, going to the use case folder, Enhanced Combined Drought Index, and running them step by step. In the first one now is to just introduce you to the formula itself, which has been quite some work looking at the time interval, precipitation, Enhanced Drought Index, and running all these steps in the 5 steps provided. So looking at the vegetation drought, precipitation, soil moisture, and Enhanced Drought Index. And in the context of Enhanced Drought Index, we are using the Landsat products 5, 7, 8, and 9, which are very impactful because of the range that they've been available over time, and also looking at providing these components and providing an area of interest that was provided for us, and importing the right libraries, and also running step on our side, running it at our area of interest in Amara in Ethiopia. Data set was shared from our partners, and also loading the particular data set from the Landsat. We're able to mask for the particular area and come up with quite a lot of time steps. So we are looking at providing the data over long-term range, where I think every 30, 35 years, you're able to see quite a pattern of the data, the weather itself, and an understanding on the vegetation index over time. And this particular Amara area has been drying over time, as it's quite an area of food basket production. Then also combining this data to get the Precipitation Drought Index. Now we are running the rainfall chaps daily data. We are resampling for this particular region, providing insights every 10 days and to inform the vegetation index. And from the rainfall data, we are making connection to our data products and the climate data. So the CHAPS data for Amara region and loading the particular data, we're able to resample for this particular region and also get the time series connection. And as I move my keyboard, it's rolling down, we're able to see the decant temperature provided, and the data sets will give you a summary of what has been shared every year. And that is shared in our results folder. And the next step is to calculate the temperature, where we provide the surface temperature from the Landsat 5, 7, 8, and 9, and gave you more information about the temperature, surface temperature observed from the satellite imagery, loading the data, and also clipping to area of interest in Amara region. And getting now the particular temperature data sets, you'll see quite a lot of data sets has been compiled for that particular area. And this assessment is very useful to get a long-term range on what has been happening for this particular region. And similarly, the same we could do for any other region, especially if we have the shapefile data, etc. Then the next step on the fourth one will be to get the soil moisture data. And this one, we are looking at tapping into the VAPA data from FAO and this climate data and getting more index to get the soil moisture drought index. So loading in the parameters and making the right connection and loading the parameters for the region, Mara region, from our shapefile. We're able to get the VAPA data, soil moisture data from FAO, and mask the soil mask area for this particular area, and also go to the level that we are getting long-term averages and getting what has happened for the region, and also clipping in to get the last data set, which now will be the combined enhanced drought index. So this one will be a combination of enhanced drought, the vegetation drought, precipitation, temperature, and soil moisture. So it's really a combination of all these four parameters, which are very key to understand at country level or at a particular region what is really happening over time. So the vegetation drought index is loaded from our results data, then the soil moisture drought index, respectively, and this particular time steps over 400 data sets, the temperature data sets, and the precipitation. And we're able to do a weighted average of the same, this particular formula. And from this, we're able to put the region of Amara region in Ethiopia. And we're able to get some assessments, including warnings of how the situation has been. And this is the particular insights that we get, normal condition and the increased drought risk, which has happened around this particular region. It's quite a region where most pastoral communities rely on, pasture. And in the folder, you'll see the particular results that we get, including the warning levels, which will be very nice when you present even at a scientific workshop. You could clip into this particular area, and even you could just get the exact regions which are highly to be affected. And it's quite informative to inform the security or the food security for the region. So from the Enhanced Combined Vegetation Index, is just to see what else we have at Digital Africa. We have the Vegetation Normalized Vegetation Index, which is also very key to understand what is happening. We also have the for the country level from Landsat and Sentinel respectively. And when we do the monthly vegetation in our real world examples, we're able to clip by a country level and even look at monthly when we expected drought condition. So it depends on where we are. In case I'm in South Africa, it could be the December, January period. In case I'm in North Africa, it could be around the July, August period. So when we have our summer or times when we have low rainfall. So looking at the phenology and these combined, you're able to get the climatology, the vegetation index, getting the mean per month. So we can be able to see how the situation is, especially in the northwest of South Africa, which is quite affected by the drought compared to the other side of the east. So it's quite informative information to get to understand what is happening at country level. Then also we can couple that with our crop mask, which was developed in the year 2020, giving you an assessment of agricultural productivity areas, and then you can change different dates or months to get the situation as it is. So from this also, we're able just to see in our Digital Africa website how to look at the different services, especially the anomaly, vegetation anomaly. So when we go to click on the services, which will take time depending on your internet connectivity, you'll be able to see the other continental services and the mean anomalies are very useful because they give you the long-term average weather conditions. And initially we had Landsat, now we coupled it with Sentinel-2 to improve the vegetation health monitoring. And this is very useful, especially if you're informing irrigation plans or grazing plans for different communities, and just some of the use cases our partners are looking when we are talking about agriculture and drought. So when you go to the map, for example, loading for the data set for NDVI climatology, we're just looking at the whole of Southern Hemisphere, for example, Southern Africa, which has been affected a lot by drought, especially from Angola in Namibia. Just looking at the trends over time, we can change from the standard anomaly or to the normal NDVI. And so these you can do get the background and see where you are, just moving between different countries, and we can be able to see quite some useful insights. So the same also is coupled with information that can give us an indication whether we have burnt areas or areas which have dried up over time, etc., etc. So on the maps, we can be able to get a lot of insights, looking at our different countries and changing the various parameters of the fly, depending on your internet connectivity. And also you can share the link on the part and share some information about some of your work or some of your collaboration, different areas, different partners. So these are the various options, looking at the mean NDVI, et cetera, et cetera. Mhm. So these are quite various options, and also these are the example the mean NDVIs informing the climatology using the Landsat from 84 2020, looking also on the other side where we have the mean anomalies coupled with Landsat and Sentinel-2, which will give us and giving us more insights and different programs across the continent. Then also just as a bonus, looking at how we can generate these NDVI animations. So we chose an area in oil funds in South Africa as an example. This is an area which has been impacted a lot by climate change. The region has really been drying over time, and we can actually see the trends over time. So we could just change and get some time steps over maybe over several years of data and get some vegetation anomaly for the region. And we can do this for any part of the continent. So it gives us quite some informative on the fly, seeing how the areas are changing, the main NDVI, different months, and also guiding us on maybe the rainfall patterns for that particular region. So from this, we have the mean NDVI animation with rainfall. So we couple it with the CHAPS data as we had in the Enhanced Drought Index example. And now this one, as we can see, we have the same area, but now adding more information on the rainfall anomalies. so that you can see exceptional dry months and how the vegetation was really affected, the stress on the vegetation. So these are key areas on making some insights on how the direction we are actually going. And also that finally, we can also look at the land cover itself, assessment over years, and how it affects the various classes. Looking at an example of South Africa, for example, we're able to couple these data sets, looking at also the change in vegetation and looking at some of the hotspot areas. So as a final, we have the access to the materials. We have the online training platform, and just taking you through the online training platform on the learning, you're able to access some of the courses, including the recent one we had on climate and wetlands workflow. So we're able to click on the introduction to the course or even looking at the user guide, which gives us step by step how to access the platform. So the user guide is very useful, giving you more information about accessing the platform, the various notebooks, the various resources, as well as documentation and an example of the vegetation climatology, or even looking at the crop health as an example. It can give us more insights on how this was developed and more resources that are available, provided in those particular notebooks even before you access them. Then in the learning platform with your password, you're able to register and get access to the platform. And looking at the various courses, you can actually say discover new, and you're able to have the various access to the particular courses, including introduction to sandbox and other courses like a wetland workflow, urbanization, etc., including the new ones that are developed by Digital Africa on wetland workflow and climate action. So these are very useful resources for us, and you get a free certificate of participation, and you're able to get more information about the courses, including the trainers and the courses and the persons and the topics within those courses. And finally, you get a certificate of completion and participation in your user account. So this is quite useful information from Digital Africa. And also we thank you for connecting with us the live sessions that we have, and acknowledging our partners helps the trust of the Australian government and the partners across the continent. And also thanking you for joining us in this session. The next week's session will be in French, and we'll keep you posted on the particular topics on the social media. Thank you so much.